Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. Good evening, everyone. Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. I like to keep the show to about 90 minutes. Kippo-licious. Be sure you get that schmedium every Tuesday night. Full tilt boogie. Kippo-licious. Good evening, everyone. Twisted Tea. Good evening, everyone. Be sure you get that schmedium. Twisted Tea. Hippopotamus. Cold beverage. Schmedium. Midler. Out in BFE. Out in BFE. At the end of the day, good evening, everyone. Tuesday. Full tilt boogie.
It's been a long road since the original kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became Livin Loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is Kicker.
We're here at the Denso NHRA 4Y Nationals here in Las Vegas. Man, we have got two-time funny car, top fuel champion, Cruz Pedregon here, icon of the sport. Dude, we just so appreciate you taking the time. But I got to ask you, so we know in 1986, you were driving go-karts, and a year later, you're in a dragster. What made that change of going from wanting to do, track racing to running down straight track racing?
I started out with something I could afford, so there was a little dirt track, a few dirt track races in Southern California that I started racing. Like I said, I could afford it. They're still expensive, but I always had my eye on drag racing. So I caught the eye of an owner that had a low budget team, started out very humble beginnings. I basically worked for food. I worked to race for nothing. So, but I started out, you couldn't have started out further down the ladder than I did, but I'm glad I did because I was able to parlay that into driving for a bigger team through the years, won a championship, and here we are. I own my own team. I've been in business for like 15 years now, or 20 years on my own with Snap-on and Kicker and all the great sponsors, so very exciting time.
Cruz, we know you're super passionate about what you do. But we're curious, what drives you, what refuels you off the track when you're at home?
Well, I have a daughter now, so it's I just love my daughter. She's going on 8 years old, so priorities change a little bit. But I've always had this passion for racing, so much so that's all I would do morning, noon, and night. I would think about it when I got up. I go to bed at night. Racing was my entire life, and it still is. But I share a little bit of that during the off time with my daughter Raya and my girlfriend Melissa. So, it's one of those things where the desire to perform at this level and to do it, I feel like I have my best years ahead of me. I have so much more experience than I did when I started out that I want to put that to good use. So here we are.
That's awesome. Well, man, I tell you, Kicker is super proud to be associated with you. We're blessed to be part of the team and helping out. And hey, now that we've got this killer PA system back here jamming the pits, what's that mean for you and your team and your guests and everybody in your organization?
Well, having a brand like Kicker, number one, is an honor for us. Really, I know it's a brand that goes way back. Heck, we've all heard of them. So for them to be, you guys support us like you do is really an honor for us. But we want to do our part on the racetrack and put your guys' name out there. But as far as what you guys just created for us was really cool. I didn't have any idea the quality of sound with all the noise, all the race cars starting, all the voices and all the generators running, that we could still hear loud and clear the PA system. So thanks to Kicker, great product, and we have a lot of Snap-on guests that are invited to come out here as part of the customer service to say thank you to the Snap-on customers for buying the tools. So it's a great opportunity for us to speak to them but not have to yell. So they appreciate it. Like I say, the brand speaks for itself. It's quality. So we're tickled to have them.
Well, thank you so much, man. Look, after 32 some years of blasting down the track, pulling 4Gs, what keeps you pushing to do this, man?
It's amazing because you never get used to these cars. Like, my eyes still burn like everybody else. They're still loud, but they accelerate. Every run is like a new run. You never know what they're going to do, but I feel like I have a little bit less stress because I kind of know what the car is supposed to do and what it feels like to make a good run. So, like I said, as a driver, yeah, I've got a few miles on me, but I think in this sport, you can still be a little older and still be able to perform at a high level. So that's what I look at as I don't feel like I'm a deficient guy in this driver's seat. If anything, I hope I can bring something to it. But the day's gonna come, hey, I'm an owner and I have a fast car. The day's gonna come where, hey, I'm gonna wanna look at a younger driver and somebody, to replace me so I can maintain ownership and maybe tune that guy into a championship or gal, whoever. So, but it's a business. I look at it as a business. It has to make sense down the road, but I'm not looking, I'd say another 4 or 5 years in this seat, I'm good.
Hey, I know you're running tight on time. You got a last qualifying run. Again, we're blessed to be with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We love you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
See you.
UFO frequencies detected emanating from the heavens. Saucer-shaped objects confirmed all over the world. Unidentified flying K saucers spotted delivering Kicker's amazing new CompQ subwoofer. Built for precision, built for abuse, built for the future and benefit of mankind. Kicker's new CompQ woofer leaves audiences astounded and amazed as it reveals subtleties in their favorite music in a way that is sure to make women blush and grown men cry. The surround features Kicker's variable cross-section high-roll design, allowing extended cone travel and excellent cone control. It's firmly attached to the cone, reinforced with our iconic stitching. Betsy Ross would be so proud. The injection-molded solo cone and laser X cone brace combined in a single ultra-rigid unit. Venting in the brace relieves performance-robbing back pressure. All this adds up to very low distortion and amazingly clean low bass. The progressive roll blue lace spider adds even more cone control at maximum excursion. The woven tinsel leads are sandwiched between the spider and the lace for durability and long life and to prosper. The spring terminal's heavy-duty square design accepts wires as big as 8-gauge or two 12-gauge wires for multi-sub installations. The high-temp voice coil is rumored to be spun upon the looms of the gods of polyamide fiberglass, along with a reinforced former for high strength and power handling. Now, add colossal magnets, plus a cavernous bump backplate, an extended pole piece created in a single forging, the likes that haven't been seen since the creation of Poseidon's trident. And the result is a driver with superior control and effective heat dissipation that extreme performance demands. The all-new Kicker CompQ is designed from the ground up to deliver everything you demand from a premium subwoofer. High output, deep, powerful, accurate bass, remarkably small enclosure requirements, stunning good looks, and not to mention the ability to frighten small children when turned up to 11. So there you have it. The all-new Kicker CompQ subwoofer. Another zenith of innovation and epic majesty from Kicker.
Correct. Mic check from Kip. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Test.
I built my first speaker to be louder. I was playing in a band and the drummer played so loud and the keyboard that I had wouldn't play very loud, and I went to my dad and said, I need a bigger speaker. It's a Fender Bandmaster, it costs $300. He dropped the newspaper. It said, $300? Yeah, but he didn't say no. He said, is it something that we could build? And so that's how I got started building speakers. The thing that I love to see is a product that we made and get to stand back kind of anonymously and watch somebody take a look at it, listen to it, and go, wow. I think that's what really lights my fires, to make products that people enjoy and have fun with. As time went on, I heard people say, you know, Kicker's like a family. I actually didn't set out to do that. I thought it sounded kind of hokey. I thought they were insincere and just saying that. After a few years, I realized, yeah, maybe that's what we've got. And that's the key, is the good people on your team in the band that makes the band really great. Well, I think Kicker is primarily a lifestyle company. That's a little backwards of where I started. I thought we were a technology company and we would make great products, but as time went on, realized that it's about people and helping people to enjoy their life and what they do. And that's what I do too. So share the love a little bit, I guess.
Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, 7:30 Central Time. You know what time it is? It's Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. Welcome to the show, everyone. As you can see, there's no hiding him. He's right up here in front with me. We're going to get to him in just a second. We got a special guest in the studio with us tonight. It is Mr. Bill Temple, the creator, the organizer, the herder of cats,
Right.
of Base Wars. We're going to talk to him about Base Wars. Obviously, that's kind of a lot of what the show's going to talk about. We're going to dig into Bill a little bit further because he's been an audio fan much longer than he's been the guy who started Base Wars.
Oh, yeah, like 25 years on.
Like 25 years
Yeah.
long. So Billy's joined us here in the studio tonight. We just thought we'd have him come out here and be with me right from the start. So for the first few minutes here, he's going to have some strange looks on his face because he doesn't know what's going on. So just kind of go with it, Billy. Just
I'll just
smile and
roll with it.
wave or
I'll
give him a
my
little
best
glance.
smile.
It'll all work out.
I'll give you the pearly whites.
You know, everyone, if this is your first time tuning into the show, welcome to the show. We certainly appreciate you coming on board. If it's your second, third, 30th, 50th time, and we've done a year's worth of shows at this point, thank you for coming back. We certainly appreciate it. You know, on tonight's show, we kind of got a list of things we always go through. We say the show's not scripted because it's really not. We don't read from a teleprompter, even though some people say we do.
Yeah, no script.
No script. Here's my script.
Right?
It's just notes that I go from. But
Yeah.
you know, tonight in the studio, and I like giving a shout out to let everybody know who's here in the studio tonight. You know, we all get together and we get to break bread together, as I call it, have dinner together. So tonight behind cameras, we're pleased to have Tim back on. Tim actually took a vacation here a few weeks back. He's back in the studio, so he's behind camera. We got Timmy there. Backstage, as always, we've got Ernie behind the main switcher. We've got JW back in the seat running the StreamYard feed. Give us a wave, guys. I see you back there. And as always, Bill Frog on the social media feed, answering questions and kicking people who don't know how to behave.
Right.
Or at least getting a big timeout.
Yeah, that happens.
So we got all the main guests here in the studio tonight. And of course, Billy, he drove in from, you didn't come in from Mississippi, did you?
No, I came from Tennessee, from Benton, Tennessee.
That's a good 10 hours.
It was like 12, 13.
Good. So
And
good
I
drive.
have a vehicle that I have to stop and get gas a lot. And so it turned into 15.
So it's a drive. By the time you
Yeah.
stop and fuel the truck or unfuel
Yeah.
yourself,
Right.
it ends up being that.
Yeah.
So we all got together, of course, tonight. I have to give a great big shout out to the entire management team and, of course, Steve and Becky Irby for letting us break bread together. JW and I, he said, what do you want? I said, you know what? I don't know. And he said, how about Roadhouse? I said, Roadhouse always works for me. So we had
Yeah.
Roadhouse tonight.
Right.
All of us sat down, had a great meal, talked about not just the show, but other things. It's always a good time. It's a great way to loosen up and get ready for the show. So appreciate that. Steve and Becky, thank you for buying us dinner tonight. We certainly appreciate you.
Well, that's awesome.
It is awesome. So real quick, I like to get into this to make sure everyone's got enough time. It's your first time here. This could be new to you. If you've been here before, this is old hat. Ernie, bring up my laptop real quick if you don't mind, sir. So what I'm going to show you here first here is we do a giveaway every Tuesday night here on the show. We kick it off at 7:15. This link opens. As you can see, I opened this up 55 minutes ago. But this is the link to the nightly contest. We open it at 7:15. We close it down right at 8:30 Central Time, and we make a habit of trying to announce the winners right at or before 9 o'clock. We try to roll the show down and be out of here by 9. Last couple shows, I've been a little long.
9:30, right?
You're Ernie back there laughing. We're going to try to keep it right about 9 tonight. We'll see if we can do that so Ernie cannot laugh at me next week. But this is, you're in the back. But this is the nightly contest, guys. You can hit this anytime between now and 8:30 Central Time. Just open up another window, roll over to kicker.com/UM Weekly. You'll get entered in tonight's contest. It's real easy to scroll down the page. You can see the grand prize tonight. We're giving away a BF100 Bluetooth speaker. You're going to get a set of those awesome kicker koozies and a limited edition Kicker Unmasked Live shirt to our first place winner. Second place, you get the koozies and shirt. We're going to hook you up with some Taper 2s. And third place, you're going to get the shirt, you're going to get the koozies, but then we're going to hook you up with a set of EB200 wireless earbuds. It's real easy to enter, guys. Just go down here to the bottom, click I agree to join the Kicker newsletter, accept the terms and privacy policy, boom. Click continue. When you do that, it's going to ask you a few questions. It'll get you entered in. There's 5 ways to enter, so if you want to try all 5, it'll get you more chances in the drawing. As always, the show is rigged for Deviant and 25 Hertz to Life. They're not allowed to win. Oh wait, they have won. I guess it's not as rigged as they say it is. But the show is, it's not rigged. It is a complete random drawing. Bill pulls these toward the end of the show. So enter the nightly contest at that link. Now, along with contests, I want to click over to the next link. We're running the Kicker 20K giveaway. and there's only 13 days left to enter this contest. We actually made a promise that we were going to do a 20K giveaway when we reached 20,000 subscribers. We've blown well past that at this point. And when we run other big contests like we've done in the past with Hoppy and MBE, and you know, we've done some stuff with the Master Tech Expo, the guys over there, Brian Schmidt at Mobile Solutions. When we're running a big contest, we don't want to stack another on top of it at the same time, so we had to hold this one off until we cleared out all the ones we had running. So this one is currently in progress. This is actually our 20K giveaway. We're a little late to the party because we're over 20. I think we're almost to 24,000 at this point. I'm sure Bill will holler out or he'll put it in the feed. But this is going to be an awesome winning contest. The winner of this is going to be able to choose their set, whatever size you need, because cars and trucks are different. You're going to get a set of KS components and a set of KS coaxials to fit your vehicle. You're going to get a single 12-inch L7R loaded enclosure. You're going to get an amp wiring kit, and you're going to get amps. Now, I use the word amps because right now, as anyone who has a pulse knows, getting electronics right now in anything, much less car audio, is a little bit difficult.
Tough to do.
It's tough to do. So when we say amps, we're going to either provide you with probably a 5-channel amplifier. It may be a marine amp. It may be a car amp. They both work the same in a car, so you don't have to worry about that. It might be 2 amplifiers, a 4-channel and a monoblock. It's just when we get to the point where we're close enough to draw this drawing, we'll see what we can pull out of inventory. I know JW monitors it every day. And so I don't know what amps we're giving away with this yet, but it will be either a 5-channel or a monoblock and a 4-channel. Fantastic contest. 7 ways to enter. Same thing. Go down to the bottom, click I agree to join the Kicker newsletter, sign up, join that. You will get a confirmation email so that confirming you want to be part of that newsletter group. And we send lots of great things over that newsletter. We only do it about once a month, so we don't nag you too much. It's really a good newsletter. If you're a Kicker fan, want to know what's coming up, whether it's events or products, I really suggest you sign up for it anyway. And so we do it here through the contest link. So that's the 2 contests that we've got going on right now, the nightly contest and the 20K giveaway. Go check those out. Along with that, everyone wants to know what's going on in the Kicker world as far as events. You know, the last 18 months have been a roller coaster ride because of the pandemic. We're closing out the year, so we don't have a lot of things going on right now. But when you want to know what's going on in the Kicker world, go to the Kicker Facebook page, click events, and scroll down, and you'll see any events that are going on are there. Hey, looky here.
Right.
We got some Base Wars events
got
listed.
some shows, yeah.
You know, Base Wars, we post all their events on here, obviously, because we are the corporate title sponsor for Base Wars. Proud to do that. Anything else going on in the Kicker world, past, present, or upcoming, you will find here in the events page on Facebook. So please always go check that out. Now, along with that, I want to slide sideways here. I always have to give a shout out. There is one guy out there who I would say is probably the most avid Kicker fan I've ever had the chance to meet, and that's, you know him too.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Andy McGill. And here, just about a year ago, he opened up the Kicker Club here on Facebook, and he's already up to 11,300 members.
That is crazy.
He's went to 11 pretty fast.
In a year.
In a year.
Yeah,
So
that's amazing.
If you're a Kicker fan, or you got some Kicker gear in your car, and you got other gear in your car, but you just like to talk Kicker, you want to talk about, you know, batteries and alternators and how to wire things and everything, Andy and the host of other people who go through this group are a great group of guys. Our own research and design guys, myself, a few others in here in the studio, Ernie, JW, will go through this group as well. It's a fantastic group. I highly recommend if you're a Kicker fan, you go check it out and join Andy McGill. You can find him on YouTube also, Livin Loud with Andy. He started his own YouTube channel. I highly recommend. Great guy. Love having him. I know he's in the feed tonight. I'll be shocked if he's not. He's always here. But the Kicker group page, the Kicker Club, man, go check it out. It's a good time. And then I'm going to move sideways. I'm going to go over here just a couple. Then I'm going to come back. Got to give a shout out. I've done it on the last couple shows. This is from my days of demoing big bass systems, you know, the early 90s. I think this disc, the original disc actually came out in like 91 or 92. I bought it when it came out. I've got a ton of bass CDs from that 80s, 90s
We
era.
didn't have rebass then.
No, there wasn't no rebass. It was just,
This is what we had.
This is what we had. And you know, I got to give a shout out. The Techmaster PEB, he actually did a re-release. He did a remaster of the original Techmaster PEB disc, and he added, and I always forget if it's 7 or 9, but he added an additional 7 or 9 tracks. And I was fortunate enough to find out about it in time that I actually got an autographed one. He autographed the first 500. So I'm blessed to have gotten in on that. I think I got number 351, so I found out kind of late.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I found out.
Yeah.
So shout out, if you're looking for some really cool music, you got to go check this out. It is great demo material for any vehicle. If it's possible, or a CD out. This is one CD that I would probably have worn out in my day. But go check it out. It's the release, the remaster of Techmaster PEB. It's Bass Computer 2021. Fantastic CD. I highly recommend you add it to your collection. And I'm excited to see in the Techmaster PEB Facebook page, they're actually talking about, they're taking inputs like, what would you like to see next come out? So I'm kind of hoping that they do. It'd be nice if it came from Outer Base, which when that came out, it was on cassette.
Right.
It wasn't on CD. That was a cassette. I would love to see that come out with a remaster, a few more tracks added, and be able to get that on a compact disc. And yeah, I'll get in line and pay and get one autographed. I'm in line. So big shout out to Techmaster PEB. Thank you for everything you do. Hopefully, maybe we can get some permission from him. We can actually show some of the music on a show one tonight.
Yeah.
Since it is copyrighted, but I bought a disc, but I said I'm not going to just, do that. And then last but not least, what we're here for tonight, I'm going to tag these real fast, and then we're going to come back to the camera, Ernie. But first one is Bass Wars. That's what Bill Temple is here for tonight. His website is basswars.org. And one of the things he mentions, a lot of guys were asking about, data. They're always looking for data. So if you go to the basswars.org site, Bill has it up and running, and you go to the 2021 results, these are all the Bass Wars members, correct?
Yeah, that one is members, yeah.
Okay, so this is members. So if you're looking for data and you want to see it, it is available on the basswars.org site. I see some names there I know: Rob Collier, James Grenier, Carl Reuter, Brian Jasinski. I don't know if I can say that. Jasinski? Is that right?
Yeah, Jasinski, yeah.
Man, I get that right? Elton Burkett.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Jeff Blizzard, Daniel Rees or Rise. There's a lot of
Reyes,
names.
yeah.
Reyes, okay.
Yeah.
So go check it out if you're looking for information. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Bass Wars tonight, so this is great that you know that basswars.org is the webpage, but then also, more importantly, check out the Facebook page, Bass Wars. You can find them by going, you can link to it off the Kicker page. You can just do a search for Bass Wars. And you've got an actual page and then a group, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So both of those are available and on there. Go check those out. And with that said, that basically wraps up the Let's Go to the Computer part of tonight's show.
Right.
I don't think we got anything. We'll see what we run into there.
Yeah.
Couple things here real quick, and I'm looking at the time, and I don't want to run out of time tonight because we've got a lot of things we want to talk about, but we have been doing a segment that is basically what products come out since the last Unmasked show. And I'm not going to go through this list again tonight because it is huge tonight. But basically, with the availability being so tight as it is on product, we've been doing this. And so what I'll tell you is, hopefully we'll get back into a habit of going through the list next week. There's just so many items I can't go through. I mean, I can tell you there's Comp VRs, there's Comp CWRT boxes, dual Comp boxes, the Snowman pods, there's some Marine speakers, there's KS coax product that's now out there. Some L7 and L7S products have landed, L715s, L715-4s. So there is a bit of product that has hit our barn since the last Unmasked show. And if you're looking for anything for Christmas gifts or for yourself, making yourself happy this Christmas, go hit kicker.com, look there. We fill all of our dealers and distributors' requests first. We do not keep product in our warehouse if we have a dealer or distributor with an order in the system. So if we show 0, it's very possible you're going to be able to find that at your local Kicker retailer, brick and mortar, or online at your favorite. There's a lot of them out there. One of the most well-renowned and known is Crutchfield. You can always go hit Crutchfield and see what they've got available. So just because it may not be on kicker.com, always check your local dealers online, brick or mortar, whichever one that you're wanting to purchase from. But it is good. We are seeing product come in. We are getting product QA'd and QC'd, and it is going out the door. That is a plus. Speakers are hard to come by right now. Electronics are even harder.
Oh, yeah.
So just bear that in mind. Go check out your local Kicker dealer. And last but not least, if you guys enjoy what we do here on the show, as you know, we don't monetize this channel. There's no commercials, and we don't ever have any intent of doing that. This is really a two-way communication conduit, as I like to put it. We're showing you what's going on here at Kicker, getting a little bit behind the scenes, bringing in guests, doing demos, it's doing all this fun stuff. And we get to hear from you guys, what do you like? What new products are you looking for? What changes would you like to existing products? So for us to continue doing this and being able to pull these demos off and get people in the studio and keep getting a free meal on Tuesday nights,
yeah,
I'm all about
nice,
that.
Yeah.
Do us a favor. You don't have to do it right now, but on your way out the door tonight, if you could smash that thumb up button, give us a thumbs up, and then also subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would be a wonderful thing for us. And if you have any input into what you've seen on tonight's show or any of the ones that are in the can, because there's 55, 56 of them on our YouTube channel now.
Right.
Some of them run 90 minutes, some of them don't. Yeah. But there's plenty of content out there to watch. Go check it out. And as always, reach out to social@kicker.com if you have any input, suggestions, or things you would like to see on the show. That is how you can get in touch with us. Social@kicker.com gets you straight into the Bill Frog's inbox. So I think that wraps up a lot of the Q&A, or excuse me, or a lot of that, like called the housekeeping for tonight. And now I know JW had one on the screen. I missed it. There was a couple that flew by my eye. But JW, if you've got anything you want to throw up on the screen, questions, comments, or anything, hit us with them as we get into this, because we'll take them here anytime between now and the end of the show. So, Bill Temple.
Yes, sir.
You're here. We asked you here.
Yeah.
We were actually, I don't know if he's in the feed. He may or may not be in the feed, but we really were going to have Jimmy Pittman on the show tonight.
Gonna bring his truck.
He was going to bring his truck, and we were going to look at his truck and kind of get him on the show and everything. But Jimmy had a previous engagement that he had to do. I think it was a Christmas party or something to do with his job, his other job, a real job, I guess.
Right.
You know, not that this isn't a job, as you've told me, it's a full-time job.
Well, for me it is, but for them it's definitely, you know, they have other jobs.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I reached out after Jimmy come back and said, yeah, I'd love to be on the show. And he said, man, I can't make it. So then I just reached over to Billy, and he's like, yeah, he said, I'm going to be able to come into the area a day or two early. So I'll just hang out and we'll do things, and I'll come into the studio, which is great. So we've got you here. So, but before I get into Base Wars, tell me what got you into car audio, period. What sparked you? What got you into car
Gold letter
audio?
kickers.
Gold letter, well, tell us.
C50, so C18s. Gold letter C18s.
Gold letter C18.
Yeah, there's one out in the showroom there. I'm
You
thought about,
I know what you're
seeing
talking
if
about.
I could get it out and, you know, give it a little tune. Yeah, man. Back in the late 80s, man, and early 90s, that was just, it was the thing.
Yes.
And to feel that bass for the first time, oh my God, there was just nothing better. I've been hooked ever since. Gold letter 18s. That's what did it for me.
Gold letter 18. So,
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Vega, you're right. His ride is brutal. Saw your comment, had to pop it up here. But then, of course, we got Dan, and it says Humphammer, so I'm going to say that's his last name, or he's got a sense of humor. One of the two.
He's
or his
definitely
parents
got
have a sense of humor. So, hey, Dan, Jimmy Pittman isn't cool enough, apparently. Well, he was cool enough. He just had other things he had to do.
Yeah.
So, at least he let me know in time that we were able to get Bill to come in and be on the show here.
Right.
And then, before his wife makes him sleep on the couch. Mullen Performance, that question we cannot talk about. But it's quite a few, actually. I actually hold my liquor pretty well. So the gold letter kicker 18s.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Ooh, I was 11, 12, 13, 14. I didn't have a car yet.
Didn't have a car yet. Rusty Evans, need to bring back the gold letter kickers. You know, Rusty, we get lots of people who have a love, a very passionate, fond memory of the original gold letter kickers. And, you know, things change, technology changes, looks change. You know, the more things change, the more they seem the same, not always. But you do know our 50th anniversary is coming up here soon, and who knows what we'll have.
Oh, yeah, that needs to happen.
You never know.
That needs to happen.
You never know. What, Jesse Steinbach, hopefully I got that right, Jesse. What is the best replacement sub for the TCW C10 loaded enclosure? So the TCW C10, that is the truck enclosure for behind seat that's loaded with a C-Series comp driver, 10-inch. Yeah, I'm correct on that.
Good job.
Yeah. Here's the thing I'll tell you, Jesse. If the woofer you got, if you're looking, I'm trying to think how to say this right. That is a small sealed box. It's very small, very compact in size, and it's sealed. You're probably going to, out of that one driver with the right power on everything, you're probably going to be in the 130s as far as an SPL number, as far as its total output capability, a single 10 sealed. You're probably going to be 32s, maybe 34s, maybe. And that's just about all the output capability that box is going to be capable of with that driver that's in there. When you say what's the best replacement sub, if you need to replace it, if your sub's out of warranty and you got a bad one, you just want to replace it, you'd want to get a C-Series comp, and you can get that you could get a single voice coil or you could get a dual voice coil depending on what impedance you need to do. Either impedance would work fine in that enclosure. If you're looking for more output than that enclosure is giving you, and that's the real question you're asking, then you're asking a completely different question. You might be looking at, maybe you need to look at a larger box, a ported box. Or if you're looking at our loaded enclosures, maybe a TCWRT or a TRTP, which are the comp RT drivers with the passive radiator. Those are very small boxes, but because of the passive radiator, they do tune lower and give you more low bass out of the vehicle. So I'm not sure the real question you're asking, so I know I'm answering in a lot of different ways, but if you're just looking for a direct replacement sub, it would be a Comp C driver. That would be the one that goes right into that enclosure. So hopefully that answers your question. Corey, well, I'm going to mess that up. Schmutzler, hopefully I got that right, Corey, and I always apologize if I butcher her name, forgive me. Says, I spoke with a kicker rep here recently. He told me that the KX series of amplifiers is no longer in production. Is there a new series that will replace it? And can you tell me when they will release? Corey, that is an excellent observation / statement and question all rolled into one. Truth of the matter is, yes, KX amplifiers are end of life. They actually went end of life at the beginning of this year. And under normal circumstances, we would have had a replacement amplifier to take its place at the beginning of this year. And as all of us know who have been, unless you've been under a rock, you know what's been going on, is it's extremely difficult to get anything to market right now. It's hard to get parts, it's hard to do final assembly, logistics is a nightmare, and my favorite term I like to use is right now, not just car audio, name it. Availability of getting things made and getting them delivered on time is a complete dumpster fire. I wish we could fix it. We have people outside, all the dealers that we deal with, they're telling us that as far as a lot of the brands they deal with, we're doing one of the best jobs of any manufacturer out there in keeping product in stock. And that's their perspective because they're actually getting stuff from us. They're getting something. We're here on the inside going, well, if that's really good, man, they must not be getting anything from anybody else.
It's rough,
it's rough.
Yeah.
So what I can tell you, Corey, is yes, there is an amplifier that's going to replace KX. It should have been this year. It wasn't this year because of everything that's going on. Which, chips, DSPs, microcontrollers, FETs, all that stuff, it's just a nightmare right now. So Kicker, as a company, we've made a decision and we have hand selected which amplifiers in our lineup are good movers, which amplifiers in our lineup we can actually get parts for. And so we are making any amplifier we can to get to market. So there are amplifiers. But bear in mind, some of the more complex amplifiers that use DSPs and things like that to do what they do, right now, it's just a no-go. It's impossible to get them to market. So there will be one coming. I can't tell you any further details about it. I can't give you anything, whether it's a name or feature set or anything, but what I can tell you is this. Is there one coming? Yes. You will find out about it here on Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly before you will anywhere else, because we are going to, since we've started this show and doing what we're doing, we're going to let you guys know about the products before they come out. Now, it's not going to be a year before they come out like this puppy's been, because this was supposed to be out at the first of the year, and as we all know, that didn't happen. So it's just a slowdown, man. We apologize for it, but understand we are doing everything in our power. Our engineers and our guys who work up in purchasing, they work their tails off every day to scour the planet, literally, to find whatever parts we can from sub-vendors, and our engineers are going, okay, we normally use part ABC. If we spec part PDQ, will it work? Will it pass all our specs? And so they're constantly testing stuff in the lab and verifying parts. Sometimes they'll verify a part and go, yeah, we could use that, and then they're gone.
Then they're gone. Re-engineer again.
Re-engineer again.
Right.
So asking for your patience and your understanding. We're being as transparent as we know how to be here on Kicker Unmasked Live because we feel that's the best way to do it. So hopefully that answers your question. Choke change. I don't want to make fun of him. I'm hoping that's just something he made up, but if that's your real name.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Choke change. Will there be any L7X enclosures with or without passive radiators? Thank you. Well, the best way I can answer that one, Choke, is we have said multiple times when we talk about it, and I catch myself doing it, so understand I'm guilty of doing it as well. The old driver is the Solo X. So if you go back into the Wayback Machine, it was the 10, the 12, and the 18, and they were Solo X. You come forward to today, we've said it multiple times, we are coming out with a Solo X family of products, and the L7X is the first subwoofer that's coming out in that family of products. So there's the patented wink that I'm going to give you. You need to read between the lines and understand when I say Solo X family of products and tell you this is the first one, that obviously means there's other things coming.
Yeah, first meaning a second, maybe a third,
you
maybe
never
a fourth.
know. There's going to be some great things coming in the Solo X family. You're going to want to stay tuned. We will always release and talk about it here on the show when we can. Of all the people in here, I'm the one that has to worry if there's a pink slip in my check on Monday morning. So there's only certain things I can talk about.
Right.
Even though I know a lot more than I should say. But for right now, I can't tell you if there is an enclosure or isn't an enclosure, or if there's passive radiators or there's not. But I can tell you that this is the first set of products that's going to be in the Solo X family. It's going to be exciting, so stay tuned. JW, if you got anything else, man, just throw it up in there. While we're going back, so while he's looking for questions, I'm also looking through the feed here. So the C18 kind of got you into car.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
What'd you use for amplifiers?
Oh, that was linear power.
Well, that's, of course, back in the day.
Linear power,
absolutely.
Yeah, 5,002s. 500 watts times 2, or 250 times 2.
Yeah, but first off, in that day, 500 watts was a lot.
Yeah.
That was huge power.
Those subs, they only held, what was it, 400?
400. It was
400?
either 400 or 4 or 5. Man, I'm trying to remember.
It was low compared to today.
Yeah, because the 12s, if we go back that far in the time machine, I think it was it 200 for the 10s, 300 for the 12s, 400 for the 15, 350, 400. Man, I wish I had some of the old catalogs
right.
so we could bring them up. We've got them all upstairs.
Well, I can tell you this. I run those amps and I never fried one.
Never fried one.
So.
And you were how old? We asked that question.
Man, I got my first kicker sub was 8s. It was gold letter 8s. I was 11 years old. Yeah, before I even had a car.
So, I mean, I dealt with a lot of those type of kids when I worked retail. So did you buy these and stash them in your bedroom until you had a car?
No.
Put them in your
I
mom and dad's
actually
car,
started
or?
driving when I was 10.
Oh!
I just didn't have my own car till I was 12. Right.
So you were in part of this country where, you know, we're driving farm tractors at 8.
Yeah.
We know how to drive better than most people.
Yeah, I was going by myself to the store when I was 10.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, like a 73 model Dodge Dart.
A 73 model Dodge Dart.
I also had a Vega.
I'm just looking through here to see if there's any questions here. So you obviously started young. You got into car audio. I know from talking to you, and you and I have, especially, I got to give a shout out to him because me and him have shared a lot of great things on the road, and that's Mr. Jimmy Ham at Pro Audio Center.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to him. So obviously at some point after you were 12, somewhere along the path you got into really liking car audio and doing bigger and bigger installs to the point that, you know, for a while you were actually hanging out working with the guys at Pro Audio Center.
Right. Yeah, and look, I attribute all this to the guys, the Pro Audio Center. I would not be in it had they not been in it, hands down.
So
but yeah, I went on, let's see, I had those 8s and then I traded them off for a set of 12s. Oh yeah.
Hey, Tim. You can just give me a this or a this. Can we talk about the thing in the back that you got recently?
I don't think so yet.
Not yet? Okay. Jason Lucas. Since I can't talk about the details yet, and that's why I was giving Tim a question there live on camera, you know, we just kind of do things loose here in the studio. Kicker needs an SPL car. I don't know that we as a company will ever build a car designed to go compete in the lanes for a number. Will we build a demo vehicle that was, you know, to play audio and do hair tricks and all the other cool stuff? Yeah, we'll probably build a demo vehicle based around this new L7X product. Yeah. I don't think you'll ever see us competing in the lanes. It really creates a sticky widget when a manufacturer that makes products starts making demo vehicles and goes in lanes and competes against their consumers buying the stuff. It's not really a good place to be.
Bad. Yeah.
So, but demo vehicles, something you can see these in and actually working? Yeah, that's coming, absolutely. And that's why I checked with Tim. We can't talk about it just yet, but there's going to be something really cool to talk about here sometime soon. It's going to be cool. 25 Hertz to life. What's up? See you good. He said just gave Kip and a wink. So Kip and a wink, there it is. So much time. I'm just looking through the feed here. That kicker up, yeah, Hi-Fi Vega, that was. The truck there, I'm going to pause this comment right here. And thanks for tuning in tonight, Robert. It is always a pleasure to have you in the feed. When Dean and Fernando drove up from Florida, they had one of the kicker trucks, and I think was that a Silverado?
No, 15 Dodge Ram.
That was a Dodge Ram. So they drove up the Dodge Ram, and it had 6 L7S 15s, and those were in 5 cubic foot each tune ported enclosures, so 30 cubic feet for the 6 drivers. And I'll say one thing, we did that one. We also did a Silverado with a similar setup, and I spent some time with the Silverado. Both those vehicles were brutal. They did move a lot of air. They were pretty cool. The thing you have to remember is that L7S is not designed with 3 inches of excursion.
Right.
Like this puppy here is going to do when it's out there. But yeah, that truck was pretty loud, and it sounded pretty good too. So thanks for being in the feed, Hi-Fi. We certainly appreciate it. Oh, would Kicker add, Aaron T., thanks for tuning in tonight. Would Kicker add input and output signal on amps to help us basshead set gains without an O-scope? Well, Aaron, that's a very good question. The line of amplifiers that are not currently available because they became end of life, which was the KX, they had clip indicators on them. So you could actually watch, it was actually a light. Maybe if we get a chance, we'll fire this amp up later, maybe get to that. But behind the gain knob, there's actually an LED. And so you literally just turn the gain knob up until you see the light turn red, the whole gain knob turns red, and you just turn it down a little bit till the light goes off, and you've properly set the gain on the amplifier. When that LED comes on, you're at about 1% THD, which is clean output on that amplifier. So that is a feature that was on KX. If I was a betting man, I would say that feature is probably going to roll forward into the replacement amplifier for KX, and that feature in and of itself is very valuable. And I wouldn't, if I was a betting man, I'd say that you'd probably see other amplifiers that we come out with in the future having similar technology, so that you can easily set the gain on those amplifiers visually just by seeing them it's clipping. And we've compared it, you know, the Steve Mead products, the AMM1 and the I'm going to forget the other one, the big box. They're accurate. I mean, our LEDs are right on. When they say you're clipping, it says you're clipping too. So you can't go wrong with that. So, Aaron, we are aware of that technology. We had it in KX. We know it'll probably roll into the replacement for KX, and you might see that feature in some other products coming from us in the future. It's just really slow to get stuff out right now, and I certainly apologize for that. I have a photo. Hey, I'm going to bring this up real quick. Charles Waltman, I want to give a shout out to you. Says you got a photo from 2000 of Mark Eldridge, Alma Gates, and me with all of our kicker vehicles. That is awesome. That is definitely old school.
Yeah.
That is definitely there in the way back machine. That is awesome. So, got into car audio, young age. Comp 18s were attracted you. It was like
I had to grow up to them though.
It was the bug light that got you in.
Right, yeah, man.
And of course, I'm not shocked with linear power, because back in that day, and even kicker when we were building demo vehicles here, which before my time here,
right, all the kicker
they were all
vehicles had linear power. Yeah.
They were all linear power.
Right.
And so, I know you spent a stint with Pro Audio Center, off and on with Jimmy Ham. Shout out to him again.
Right.
And then, what got you? What made you even want to start a competition organization? I mean, what got you headed down that path?
Yeah. So I built a truck with those two. I bought Pro Audio's truck, as a matter of fact, from them, the one that had been around there since 1989. And they decided they'd let it go, so I took it from them, and I bought 1212s to put in it. 1212s, and well, the rest is history. I didn't have anywhere to compete. So I started my own.
So you just started your own organization?
Yeah, we started doing meet and greets at first. And the meet and greets turned into small competitions. And then I was having so many, I was like, man, I got to have some help or I got to quit.
Right.
And so here we are.
So,
got some help.
So when, if we look at as far as a time frame, how many years back did you start Bass Wars? 3, 4?
No, I actually started having the meet and greets at around 2016.
Okay, so 2016?
Yeah. The last 2 years it's really blossomed though. That's when you know of it, for the last 2 or 3 years. But I was doing them probably 2 years prior to that.
So 2016, I do know from, which obviously we kind of touched about at the beginning of the show, you know, and you really kind of sales pitched me. You really did sales pitch
right.
me. You did.
Yeah.
And it was actually, we were actually at a dinner. I had never been to a place. I like sushi. I mean, some people do, some people don't. I like sushi. I don't like all sushi, but I like a lot of sushi.
Right.
I mean, there's some stuff you're like,
I don't know if you call that sushi, but it's good.
It's good. So Jimmy Ham, which I have to call him, you know, he's not only a kicker dealer, but I consider Jimmy a great friend. And Jimmy invited me to join you and he at Nobu in Las Vegas 2 years ago?
Yeah,
3 years ago. 2 or 3. And had one of the most fantastic meals I've ever had. I had.
It's different.
I didn't pay for the meal, Jimmy did, but I looked at the ticket and I went, "Oh my!"
Glad you didn't pay.
Glad I didn't pay for the meal. It was, so, but it was but back then, even you're like, man, you know, I've got this thing going on. I'm a kicker fan. I've always been a kicker fan.
You know, when you're into something, it's hard not to talk about it.
It is.
It's hard not to talk about it.
So he kind of did a soft sell that turned into another meeting that we had here. And we decided to come on board, and actually we are the title sponsor for Bass Wars.
Right.
We help you out as much as we can.
Right, it's a lot.
And I wish, I'm gonna do a search here and see if I can find anything. Do you know if you got a picture of the tents?
Oh yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, Lord, finding them might be a little difficult. But,
is this the super secret? It's always the super secret SGA audio guy, or SJC audio guy in the feed. It's always super secret. I'm going to do a real quick search here.
If I were to hunt for them, I'd go to the page or maybe the group and search, just go look at photos.
want to see if there's anything that just pops up. Is that
that's one of the newer ones.
That's one of the newer
You
ones.
see, that's just not the best photo of it.
It's not the best photo. I was going to try to find one here. You think the best things go on the page?
I think probably the group.
Go to the group.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's anything here.
Maybe. That's
just looking to
old, boy. That's old.
Man, that's some old stuff there.
Where did you find that?
I don't know.
It's
It's
really old.
It's just there in your feed.
So you're witnessing my how I learned to do artwork.
Well, we all start somewhere.
Right.
So here's the public group. Let's
Yeah,
go
that's
here.
the group. And see if you can find, is there a page, maybe media?
Media,
Yeah.
photos.
Now there'll be a lot there, but
Oh,
you
there
might
is a lot
scroll
there.
down and see, you can probably find, that's an older tent. That's,
Man, I wanted to see the newer tent.
yeah, you will. They're posted. I set them up and I'm sure I posted them because I was proud of them. Did it in my front yard.
These are, they're in your
But
front yard.
it's been a little while since I did it, and there's a lot of photos.
There it is.
You go.
Boom, there's one right there. Hey,
Yeah.
Ernie, will you bring my laptop up real quick?
Yeah.
So just to give an idea, so you've got how many? I mean, it started off as just you. I mean, when you kind of champion kicker and you were looking for a corporate sponsor and everything, it was just you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But you've gone from just you to how many people and what territories are you covering now? And this is like I said, this is a cool photo. This is a tent that was actually designed by our in-house graphic artist
Right.
people.
You guys are better at art than I am.
Well, they're better at it than we are.
Yeah, they
Don't
do a
put
good
me in that
job.
boat. I don't know either.
Right.
But
Yeah.
no, but they do a fantastic job. So how many? I mean, I know I've bought quite a few tents for you.
Yeah. So I think we're almost to 10.
Wow. Okay.
Almost to 10.
So quite a few.
Yeah. And 6 of them look like that.
Man, that's a good looking tent.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I saw was the artwork on the PDF. I don't know that I've actually seen a tent.
Oh, okay.
So that
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah, they look good. I get complimented all the time on them. The only difference in the latest ones we got is we didn't get that back wall because that turns it into a balloon.
It turns it into a.
Yeah, it's gone.
It just flies away.
Yeah. Well, it don't fly away, but it's going to yank on it pretty good.
So with Base Wars going on now, you've got 10 tents. So do you have 10 tents or do you have 10 individual guys as well?
No, yeah. So I've got 8 guys right now. 8, trying to get to 10 before this year's over, which ain't but 2 more weeks. So I don't know if we'll get that 10th guy.
You don't know if you'll get him?
Actually, I really need 9 and 10. Someone around the Indianapolis area, Columbus, Ohio area, that would be good. And then I think I got my North Carolina and South Carolina guy.
Well, here, we're here on the feed, and there's a whole lot of people watching. If there's
Right.
someone in that area that's interested and wants to communicate or talk
Right.
to you about that, how would they reach out to you?
Send me a message on Facebook since we're on Facebook.
Since we're on
it's probably
Facebook,
the best way.
Do it on there.
Yeah.
David Gibbons, I had an LP 5002 on 4 kicker 12s back in 1990. That
Ooh,
sounds
that
like
would have sent those.
that
That would
would've
have sent
done it.
those 12s to the max.
that would have absolutely done it. And then, man, I got to give a shout out to, he's in the feed, MB from MB
All
Enclosures
right, yeah.
himself, checking in. Kip, hey MB, how you doing tonight, sir? Fantastic to
All
see
right.
you in the feed. Thanks for tuning in, man. We appreciate it. So right now you've got 9. You're looking for that magical 10th. And so with the 10 people, or the 9, you want it to be 10.
Yeah.
What regions of the U.S. by state are you covering for Base Wars competitions?
So once we have somebody in that Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio area, I think we'll have the right half of the country covered.
So basically the East Coast,
The East Coast.
Mississippi.
From the center of the country to the East Coast.
from the center. So when you say center, I mean, obviously with Jimmy,
Kansas
he's just up
City.
in Kansas City, so that's here.
Over to the right.
So basically Kansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah. We have Chet Teal in Texas. He's going to kick off after the first, so he'll have some East Texas, some West Texas, I guess, because he's more so west. But so we'll be a little bit weak over and on the, I guess, the West Coast.
Right.
But with that other tent, if the guys that I just took, if they can cover that East Coast, we'll have one that we could do West Coast. But I still need somebody out there because that's quite a ride.
I was going to find a way to work this in because I want to ask you a lot of questions because you're not the only competition organization
Oh,
out there,
right,
obviously.
right.
But there's a lot of people that I've spoken to at events that talk very fondly of Base Wars. They like how your organization
Right.
runs.
Yeah.
And we'll get into more of that in here in just a second.
Sure.
But Juan Romero Jr., and hope I got that correct, Juan. I apologize if I didn't. How does Base Wars work? Where are the events? So obviously, events-wise, we're talking center of the U.S.
Right.
East.
East, right.
Except for right now, what you're saying, which is the Ohio, Indiana, what you're looking for a
Right.
guy to bring on board to
Right.
handle that area.
I just signed on a guy, Alan Schaefer's his name. He's going to be doing the Carolinas, some East Tennessee, and maybe some Virginia, I think, as well. So we just need that one northern guy, and I picked the places on the map so we can cover the whole country without having to, skip areas and stuff. So we'll just be covered.
You know, it's a little early to talk about it, but I'll drop a plug for it. We're actually going to have a huge show here in Oklahoma in July.
July 16th.
And it's going to be down in and around the Bricktown area in Oklahoma
Right.
City. So we'll have more details about it as we come closer. Obviously, we're rolling out 2021 before we get into 2022. So all those type of events will find their way onto our Facebook events page. But that's going to be a cool show down in Oklahoma City, and I can't wait for us to talk more about that one.
Yeah,
You're going to be there,
so
aren't you?
yeah, I'll be
I
there.
figured you would be.
Right.
So I'm going to take this question first, and I'm going to ask you something here. Extreme, spelled with a 3, so E3 Extreme. How has SPL changed over the last 30 years? It seems like no one cares about SQ with SPL anymore. I'll give you my perspective on it, and then I want you to give agree, disagree, or put your counterpoint in on it. When I started in competition in car audio, it would have been in 1986, 87. I think the first competition I ever went to was NACA, or CAN. It was either Car Audio Nationals or NACA or both.
Now that is pretty much when subwoofers, as we know it, just came about. Correct?
Yeah. And back in that time frame, I had a car that was loaded up with a pretty obnoxious system. Back in its day, back then I used a lot of Kenwood amplifiers and other products from, it was loud and it sounded good. I mean, if it's just loud but doesn't sound good, I'm not interested. It doesn't. I've heard so many cars in today's world that they're loud, but when you walk by, it's just like it's grating. It's just like knives and forks in a blender loud.
Somebody has convinced the people that distortion equals loud.
It does not.
Horn tweeters do not sound good distorted. They hurt. Please turn them down.
Yeah, please, pretty please. They do.
Yeah. If it's pain, it's not good.
It's not good.
Right.
But the thing that's changed for me is when I started in competition, and I was in competition for probably the better part. It had been, mid '80s through mid to late '90s. It was more focused on the whole car. There was a score for how does it stage, how does it image. SPL was a portion of your score, but it wasn't what made you win or lose.
Right.
It was a part of your score, and you had to play real musical tracks. And it was the same track for everybody. It was a musical track you had to use, and it was focused on that. Now I will say, even though I competed in those organizations, those competitions, I always had to turn the bass in my car down to compete because I didn't like the way it sounded. It was lifeless and bland. I like my bass to be probably about 6 to 9 dB hotter than what someone who's into true SQ thinks bass should be.
Me too.
It's
I
just
like
too
it a little
lean.
bass heavy.
I like it to be a little more there.
Like a little punch.
So for me, when I got into it, it's almost kind of ironic. I look at back then, and it was SQ, it was the quality of the install, how clean the car was, how well you presented the car, which that was a huge deal. I mean, did you have a great book? Did you have photos? Did you have everything tied and neat and tidy? I mean, it was an all package that you did back then. And SPL was just part of your score. RTA, absolutely. And of course, what I learned from RTA is just because it looked good doesn't mean it sound good at all. So what's happened is the one thing I think that turned a lot of people off to car audio competitions in that 80s to late 90s time frame is you can't argue with an RTA. It measures the car and here's what it is. It's a score. There's no arguing with it. SPL, you play it, it hits this number, that's your score. But then when it comes down to, well, how good does the install look? How well did you present? How creative were you? And as anyone out there can attest to, what I might think is extremely creative and want to give you a lot of points for as a judge, you might think is just mundane and give no points for.
And what you've seen.
Yeah, and then how good does it sound? Well, my idea of sound quality might be different than his idea of sound quality, and his idea of what a center image and width is different than mine. And so I think a lot of people in that time frame maybe got a little disenfranchised with the fact that here's something that, this is a machine with a number and that's just what it is. When here's a human being, I'm trying to convince why my car sounds better than anyone else's, and it's his opinion.
Right.
And I think that maybe turned some people off, and I think that's why we saw in 2006, 2008 that really car audio competitions as we knew them just kind of died. There weren't people going to them, there weren't consumers going to them, there weren't people competing in them anymore, and it kind of fizzled out. And what happened is, in that vacuum that was left, is there's companies that came in and started creating these longer throw, something like an L7X.
Right.
These long throw subwoofers that do really, really high output numbers at lower frequencies, below 40 hertz, in that 20 to 40 hertz range. And it's all gauged by a meter. It's nobody's opinion.
Right.
And if you've seen some of these cars, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but some of these cars, man, you need to get the trash out of your cars. At least, at least pick the McDonald's meal up off the floor before you ask me to sit in the thing.
Right.
There is no focus on how good it looks because it's not on the score sheet. There's no focus on how good it sounds because it's not even a measuring criteria. It's just how many dBs does it put out, which are measured by a meter. It's not your opinion.
Right.
It's that meter.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Right. Or how far away can I hear the words?
Right. Yeah, country mile.
Country mile.
When the police show up and say, who's going to jail? Yeah, not good.
Not good. So to me, looking at it, that's how it's changed or evolved for me. Is it's went from more of a clean, detailed sport where, there's some subjective analysis and there's some objective analysis, but at the end it came on a score sheet and, okay, I won, and maybe I had more creativity points, or maybe I eked out one more dB of SPL, but now it's strictly SPL. Is it good? Is it bad? It's not for me to judge. I'm just telling you that's the difference.
I'll tell you this. So really what's heartbreaking is the people that compete today, they don't have that, okay, like when you go to get something on credit, you're sitting there like, man, I hope they approve me. Back when we competed, you didn't know just because of the score of the SPL. You didn't know if you won or not. So you're just sitting there waiting until the results were read. You didn't know.
You didn't know.
And they don't have that now. They can walk up, look at the scoreboard and say, oh, I can't beat that, I'm not going to enter.
They just don't even enter because they know they
know,
can't.
yeah, right. Why waste their money?
Well, it's like
so they don't have that thrill, which is kind of a bummer for them.
Which, if you don't get in and start playing, you're never going to learn what you need to know to get better.
Right.
Never. If you don't start, you'll never get better.
Right.
Hyperactive EFX Custom Life. Now, there's a tag. Is Base Wars ever going to have an event in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, etc.? So he's kind of looking up that northeast part of the country. Because we host a lot of car meets.
Yeah. So we're trying to get that half of the country covered. I originally planned for 3 people over there, but I've got 2, and I think the other one may go out to California.
The other one?
The other tent, the 10th tent
that you're looking at may go to California.
The one extra that I have, it may go there because we did that show in Las Vegas, and man, those guys really enjoyed Base Wars, and so if I don't find somebody else on the East Coast, that's where we'll send that other tent.
So Hyperactive, thank you for the question. If you have anything else, throw it in the feed. We'll bring them up. I'm going to pop this one up only because I know who this is. This is Drew Jones.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What's up, Drew? Thanks for tuning in tonight, man. Baseaholic Productions. Let me come in and build y'all a one. Now, build y'all, he's from the South.
Right.
I've even worked y'all into my phrase, and I'm from the North, so I know. So let me build y'all a 165 or 160 dB demo build that uses like 7,500 watts. Drew, when it comes time for us to start having those conversations, you would definitely be one of the guys that we want to pick your brain and maybe get you to come in, do a little, you've already done a tour of the place, maybe come in, break some bread, have some conversation, maybe get you with Tim and the guys in the back, and you can impart some wisdom on us because, guys like you who are designing and building these enclosures and also going out and competing all the time because there's you, and I know you work a lot with Steve Duncan. And I've sat in Steve Duncan's car with him at the volume knob, and I took it everything but the last 2 clicks. So I got to say, it was brutal.
It's brutal.
It was brutal.
Yeah, but both of them are brutal.
They are both very brutal vehicles. And then he's got a van. I haven't experienced
that's the
van.
one that scares me.
Is it bad?
I took the truck, but the van.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Saber Small. I'm going to bring this up. I don't know how to answer this question, but Base War should hold a manufacturer Base War competition SPL, or have a new IASCA or USAC lane for them, but if people want to compete, they can. So basically what he's saying is have a separate category for manufacturers.
Well, that's what we used to have as the pro category. But so we don't really have that, and we don't have a lot of them coming. If it turned into we had a lot of them showing up, we would do it. Right?
Oh, thank you, Tim. Tim just gave me a heads up, which I'm glad he did. It is 8:20. Just give you guys a heads up. Tonight's contest, so if you're just tuning into the show or if you've forgotten, haven't got out, remember, tonight's contest, we do it every Tuesday night. We launch it at 7:15. We shut it down at 8:30. You go to kicker.com/UM Weekly. I'm sure Bill, if I look, I think he's got it in the feed scrolling at the bottom. That is our nightly contest. You got 10 more minutes left to enter. Go hit that. Tonight's prizes, Bullfrog 100, T-shirt, koozies for grand prize, Tabor 2s, T-shirt and koozies for second, and EB 200s, T-shirt and koozies for third. Always be sure to enter that prize. It is a small token of Kicker showing our appreciation for you guys tuning in, spending some time with us, so we certainly appreciate that.
But that is some nice gifts.
It is, and you know, we change them up a little bit every week. I mean, it's kind of a thing we do every week, but
those bullfrogs are awesome.
They are awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be glad when we get some more in stock.
Yeah.
Mike Crater tuned in. Hey, Mike, good to see you tonight. Hopefully Lane and you are tuned in and watching. I know you and your grandson love watching the show, so thank you for tuning in tonight, Mike. Don't forget about the bourbon kip. Yeah, Mike Crater's working on a big build. He's got high hopes. We'll see.
I saw him in Vegas. You remember the year before last?
Absolutely. And he's like every bass head. He can't leave it alone. He cracked a 160, so now he's got to tear it apart and try to do more.
Yeah, right.
Guys, it's not that I don't appreciate and understand your drive to want to get louder and bigger numbers, but let's be honest. 150 is huge. 160 is like, that's
enough.
It's plenty for me.
To play anyway.
I mean, my idea of a daily driver, like if I have a daily driver and it'll do mid 140s, 146, 148 as a big, I'm done. That's all I need that's all I need.
Yeah, I like a low 50s to cruise around with.
To cruise in. You like mid 140s, 146, 148.
I have been known to put earplugs in and cruise.
Well, you want to hear, so.
I feel it.
You feel it.
That's what I like.
You like the Masagi, a little Masagi.
Right.
Robert Smith tuning in tonight. Hey, thanks for tuning in the show, man. MB Enclosures. Saw one of your, so this is a shout out to MB apparently. Saw one of your boxes on Hi-Fi's forum. Your style is so easy to pick out of a crowd. I saw the picture and knew right away I was looking at one of your boxes. Keep it up. You know, Robert, we have to agree. We did a big giveaway with MB. He built and designed the enclosure for a 2019 or newer Ford F-150 crew cab, and of course, Kicker, we are providing the woofers to go in that, which is a pair of L7S drivers. That contest is already over, but that's one we did with MB. Fantastic gentleman. We love working with him. We've sent in some other product to do reviews on that he's asked for, and you know what? When we get some of this big stuff, I'm pretty sure you're going to see some of this on MB's channel for review, because MB, he knows what he's talking about. He talks right to you. He doesn't try to mince words. He does things on his channel that I can't do here.
Right.
So, I tune into his feed. He does a live feed on Friday night. If you haven't seen it, you need to tune in. It's a good time. I grab my favorite cold beverage. I put it in my Kicker koozie. And I tune in on Friday nights to MBE. So go check that out. It is a good time with Mr. MB from MB Enclosures. Andrew Tyndall got a question for you. Will you guys ever offer any Class AB amps similar to the ZR series from back in the day? Andrew, that's a loaded question. I took it up on the screen on purpose just because I like to stutter over my words.
Right.
Class AB as a design, we still do Class AB in our CX amplifier full range product. So if you look at the 360.4, and I'm going to miss, I think there's the 152, I think there's 3 models in there, and I apologize, I can't keep the hundreds of models we have in my head all the time. But we do have some Class AB in the CX line, and they're great amplifiers. Just because it's our Kicker's entry-level amp doesn't mean it's an entry-level amplifier. They are a great sounding product. What we have found, though, is that for the power that most people are looking for, and with cars getting smaller, electrical systems having even, I remember back in the day, if you had a 60 amp alternator in a car, that was huge, but that's what the car needed to run. So an upgrade was 110 or 120 amp alternator, so you could have a little extra juice to run your audio system. Now fast forward to today, people think they've got a big alternator. They buy a new car and it's got a 120 or a 140 or 160, but what they don't realize is that car manufacturer, that alternator's in there because all the electronics and accessories in that car need that power. It's not like you got a lot of extra power.
Right.
So for us as a company, it's always a balancing act when we're looking at the budget sheet, is that how much power can we realistically draw off of the electrical system in the car safely, and how much power can we then deliver to the consumer? And everyone wants more power. Nobody wants less power.
Right.
And that's why Class D as a technology has been pushed to where it is today. And it's not just in car. Class D has found its way into Pro Sound. Class D has found its way into home. Class D has found its way into custom home where they're doing, multi-zone audio. It's because for the same footprint and the same amount of current draw that I can pull, whether it's from a wall outlet or a battery, I can create much more power and much less heat. The one thing I'll say, I will never tell anyone what they think should sound good. I will never say that. But what I will say is Class D technology has come a long way. We're in there that game as well. And blindfolded, not being clipped, I don't know that a good Class D full-range amplifier today, a good one, now there's lots of bad ones out there too, don't get me wrong, but a good Class D amp, I don't know that anyone, even the people who claim they can really hear the difference between it and a good Class AB. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying the differences might be so minute that you can't even pick them up for an average listener.
Right.
So as far as the technology, I'm not saying we don't make Class AB, we do. Are we ever going to come out with big Class AB? Well, the problem with big Class AB is if you want 100 watts by 2 or 100 watts by 4 or 150 watts by 2 or 150, you're talking huge chassis. Right. So we'd have to go back to really big chassis amplifiers, which when we go that route, that does two things. Drives up the size of the amplifier, drives up the cost of the amplifier, drives up the amount of current you're going to pull from the car, and for that same amount of current that you're pulling from the car in that Class AB, you're going to get fewer watts.
Yep.
Because if you just give me a budget and say 80 amps, I can give you this many watts in Class D.
Period, end story.
Or then this much in Class AB.
It's that simple.
So it's that simple. So it's a good question. What I have learned is never say never, because I've worked at Kicker long enough to say, we're never going to make a radio. Kicker's not going to make radios. And then we make radios for Marine, the source unit. So I'll never say never, Andrew. But good question. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Flexin 500. I'm just waiting on box recommendations for the 15-inch Solo X. Got my box builder on standby. Flexin, I guess if I look at the order of people who want the teal small parameters on the new L7X15, it would probably be at the very top of the list, Steve Barber. And then if I come down to second in that list, I'm going to have to go with probably a tie between Mike Craner and Brad Manning. Mike's up in Utah, works for Cartoons, and he's a big SPL competitor guy. And Brad Manning works here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, down at Audio Midwest. I'd say those two guys are tied because I get personal messages from both of them like, hey, you got some teal smalls? I really need some teal smalls. Hey, Kip, hey.
Right.
As soon as we have anything definitive to share on that, we will release that stuff here on Unmasked Live first. Just understand, we are in the final tuning of drivers. Like the 15 we had here in the box on last week's show, that wasn't even a finalized driver. I mean, that's close. We're close, but we're still tweaking and tuning and making changes. So we're not going to release teal smalls on anything until we know we're done.
Yeah.
And our engineers, they have put a ton of work into these drivers, and it's really hard to get things accomplished in a timely manner because of this whole pandemic thing that it's done to the entire global, and I do mean global, parts, supply chain, logistics. It's a nightmare. So Flexin, as soon as we got them, we'll release them here on Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly, so please stay tuned. I know you want them, and for anyone else tuned in, we will announce all that information here as soon as we can. I see some, nothing to do with the show, but tacos de barbacoa sounds good right now.
Yeah.
25, we have a habit around here, even though we break bread together over at the table that's literally just right over here. I mean, I'm pointing away from the camera, but it's right over here is where we eat. We also have this other habit that when the show's over, we shoot the teaser for next week. Ernie loves doing that. If I get it right the first time, we're out of here just like that.
Right.
But if I mess up just one thing, we're here for 45 minutes because I can't get it right.
Right.
But then we go down the street to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right. We did that.
So, whether it's going to be a cold beverage or some wings or whatever, we'll have something on it. But man, they have street tacos now. So
really?
Yeah, they do.
That's
so
cool.
I don't know if they're barbacoa, but we're going to go find out.
Right.
Thanks for tuning in tonight, 25, man. We appreciate having you in the feed as always. So looking through here, I'm just looking for good questions here to bring up. The one thing I want to bring up is you started Base Wars. We know you're basically center of the country east.
Yeah.
You're looking, eventually you want to be nationwide.
Yeah, that's right. But if the competitors want it. We're not trying to push ourselves out there. I am very much holding on right now.
Right.
They're pulling at me.
So what I want to say, and maybe try to get you to address it in however you want to address it, but I know from talking to people who compete in the different organizations and compete in Base Wars, I continually hear, it's not that you don't have rules. You have rules, but I also think there's a certain flexibility in your organization. And what seems to happen is most people who come and compete at one of your competitions, they seem to enjoy it more and walk away. Win, lose, or draw, they walk away more relaxed.
Had a good time.
At the end of one of your shows than some of the other competitions.
Right.
Why is that?
So, as a competitor, I know that to compete, I don't need to make my car loud in one spot and you can have your car loud in another, and I have to compete at the same spot that yours is loud. That makes sense?
Sure.
All right. So instead of making rules, we make classes. So if we're coming out with some C-pillar classes,
okay,
people are wanting C-pillar stuff, so we're going to do that rather than break that up and make it a rule that, oh, you can't have a wood roof, you can't have this or that. We're just going to make a class for it. And so we have a rule. Our only rule is we hand you the sensor, so no need to say we didn't put it in the right spot. We hand you the sensor and you put it where you like, in front of the front seat location. If you don't have your front seats, that's the reason I say in front of the front seat location, you can take them out. Anybody can take their seats out. It's a competition. Do what you like, just do you. And I'm telling you, Kip, when people, they don't understand. They are so bound by this rule, that rule, can't be above the window line, can't have a door handle, or if it does and it's broken, you're out. We don't have any of that.
You know, there are some of those rules, Billy, and as we all know in life, the reason rules or laws are created is because someone did that and made the right or wrong person angry. And so someone created a rule or a law to go against that. The thing that bothers me when you look at all this is, especially the first thing, I've been blessed myself. I got to give a shout out to Aaron Surratt, Jeremy Brown, those guys work in R&D, spend a lot of time with them and have on the road. You've been with us. And then of course Bill Brown. It'll be 4 years now when we started doing this, but going out on the road and seeing what you guys do to your vehicles, I don't know how you guys keep a vehicle fully functional to begin with, and now I know why a lot of you guys are using. There's two extremes. There's the beater car that's just got stuff thrown in to compete with, and when the car is destroyed, they throw it away like a trash can and just get another one. Or you got people like Steve Duncan and Drew Jones who take a car, a brand new, fairly modern vehicle.
That's really rare.
It's really rare, but man, it looks great.
Yeah.
But he will admit he's got to work on it all the time to keep it together.
Yeah, you do. And over the years, the term trailer queen has come up with a new definition.
Trailer queen, yeah.
Now the trailer queens just may not make it to the show.
Sometimes the trailer doesn't make it to the show. The queen, the trailer, sometimes the tow vehicle, they just don't make it.
Yeah, they don't go.
I got to give a shout out here to Base God. That Solo X is the truth. Yeah, we were blessed to be able to show that one in the enclosure last Tuesday's show. I just wanted to give you guys tuned in the show a little taste of that driver so you can see what we've got going on here. The new L7X. I do the same thing. I call it Solo X. Even though I sit here on the show, it's the Solo X family of products, and L7X is the first one in, so I'm always correcting myself, but I get what you mean when you say Solo X. We're really talking about the L7X, Solo X being the family of products. You're going to love them when these come out. We get to the end of the show here. I think we're going to do a little fun here with the 10, just because we've had some requests on that, but that's a good one. And then, Drunken Bass. Kicker Wars version 2 on a bunch of new Solo X subs. Even he's called, you mean L7X subs of the Solo X family? Don't worry, I correct myself too. It's not a big deal. I know what you mean by Solo X. All I can tell you is, it's the Solo X family of products, and the first thing out of the gate is the L7X subwoofer. We'll go from there. And I'll give you the patented wink. So it is, I'm looking through for questions. So standalone, I'm going to bring this up. Kicker should release a standalone Bluetooth bass knob. Dan Humphammer again. Dan, if you're familiar with the KX line of amplifiers that just went into life at the beginning of the year, we used a Bluetooth-enabled bass knob on the monoblock amplifiers and for the bass section on the 5-channel in those amplifiers. Bluetooth, there's a running joke here, and everyone knows it when I ask it. I ask people all the time, we get in a conversation, they say, hey, ask me what I like about Bluetooth. And of course, my response is absolutely nothing.
Right.
I'm not a Bluetooth fan for a lot of reasons. It is become the dominant way that people want to, move their music from their phone into their car or have phone conversations. And even though I say I don't like Bluetooth, yes, I Bluetooth my phone into my own car because for phone calls and things like that, it's great for safety.
Makes it easy, yeah.
But if I'm going to seriously listen to anything, I don't Bluetooth any music into my vehicle. The problem with Bluetooth, it's a very low-powered transmitter, and the FTC, FCC rules are, it basically cannot interfere with anything and has to accept interference from anything that's around it. So I can tell you from personal experience, in an extreme environment like CES or SEMA, where you've got all these different cars and lights and Wi-Fi and when you get all that going, there were times that we would run into a situation where our own Bluetooth remote would just quit working because there's so much RF noise, you can't see it. But I actually had an app in my phone. I'd open it up and I go, see, here's all the RF noise in this place right now. I don't know how anything's working because there's so much noise.
Right. Makes sense.
So, Bluetooth has its drawbacks. Typically, in a one-car scenario, the Bluetooth remote worked fairly well. There were situations that depend on where you were driving through town. If there's a lot of TV transmitters or FM transmitters, it could squash the signal and it wouldn't work or would unpair. Bluetooth in that was not perfect. It had its issues. The battery goes dead, you can't adjust the bass. So when you say Bluetooth, I understand why everyone's on the Bluetooth wagon because it's kind of become the name to talk about wireless. I would think if we ever did something like that, I don't know if it'd be Bluetooth, but I get what you mean. Let's do wireless, but there's other ways to do wireless besides Bluetooth that are way more reliable. Way more reliable than Bluetooth. But good question, Dan. Thanks. We appreciate it. And feedback like this, trust me, Dan, we take this information, it goes into our heads, it goes into meetings behind the scenes after we close this show down, it carries on through the next week, and we talk about all this. So thank you for adding that. We love that. So back to your organization. Obviously, people walk away, they're relaxed, they have fun. You have rules, but if your gas cap isn't on, you're not disqualifying somebody.
Right. Actually, there's no way. The only way you can get disqualified in base wars is to be mean to the judge.
So don't be mean to Bill or Jimmy or Jordan or
don't be mean to the judge, and that's the only way. If something goes wrong, we let you run again, no problem.
But you're not going to get hung up on the taillights out, door handle doesn't work, no gas cap, those kind of things.
That's not fun.
That's.
I guess I got to be careful.
It's petty. Well, it's petty.
Yeah, and we're not petty.
Which is what I think a lot of people appreciate about your organization.
Yeah.
So looking at your organization, obviously, started off young. Proud to say Kicker was the one that got you there. Kicker was one of the ones for me too when I was young. I mean, a lot of us in this age, just Kicker was one of the ones. Cut your teeth in audio, worked at a pro sound shop. You say, Jimmy had a lot of influence on you, even wanting to go into the competition side.
Went to high school together, so big system
there.
You go. And so it was fun, man. It was a blast, and that definitely was. It definitely pulled me that direction, hands down, no doubt about it.
So I'm going to ask you, how can I be? I'm going to bring this one up. I'll leave this. I'm going to answer that question in just a second. We'll put you on the spot. So you've told me, at least I know from the invoices I turn in and I listen to Jeremy say, how much money did you spend to get a can again? But we'll put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Tell me the guys and where they're located for Base Wars.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. So we'll start out west. We got Chet Teal.
Okay.
He's in other side of Dallas. I forget the town, but the West Texas town. So then we have Jordan Acosta. He's in Gonzales, Louisiana. Then if we go straight up, we got Jimmy Pittman in Kansas City. Dan O'Brien is in Sioux City, Iowa, I believe. And then we just brought on Alan Schaefer. Just brought him on 3 days ago.
Okay.
Not exactly sure where he actually lives. He didn't send me his address yet.
But he's so new that he hasn't really met the boss.
in the Carolinas, I think.
Don't worry, a W-2 will be coming your way soon.
Right, right. And then we have we got Robert Diaz. He's in Daytona area, Ormond Beach, if you're familiar with that. And then, man, I'm forgetting somebody.
I know I was putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I think that's probably it. I'm probably forgetting somebody.
Like we said, folks.
Oh, Jake Luke, Grenada. He's pretty new. He's pretty new as well. Yeah.
So that's the team. We got a question here from hopefully Molly Rucci. I hope I said that right, Molly. If I didn't, I always apologize. How can I be a Kicker sponsor? I assume what you're asking is how can you be sponsored by Kicker?
I bet that's.
I'm pretty good at interpreting the quick texting and phone. I mean, typos and missed words. I'm getting really good at it.
Right.
Here's the thing, Molly. We do have a sponsorship program that we do. It's very limited. Obviously, right now there's no sponsorship program for L7X because it's not even available on the market yet. But if you're interested in any type of sponsorship program, you could reach out to social@kicker.com and give us your email address. There's actually a packet we'll send back to you. It's not just for everybody. It's a limited number of seats that we do. It's no longer and can't be anymore. There's no quote-unquote free rides. It's actually some discounting and some things we do on that. But there are things that you have to qualify for. I mean, we just don't provide this to anyone. And so there is an information packet we can send out to you, and you can look at it. And if you check all the boxes and you feel like you qualify, send that back to us, and we'll put you into the running.
Yeah. So I'm going to step in for just a second. So Base Wars has a program where if you look at our score sheet, it asks you all the equipment that you have, your subs, your amps, where you like to shop. And so, Kip, how valuable would it be for one of my competitors to say, hey, would you call Kicker? I'd like to have a sponsor. And for me to be able to say, look at my spreadsheets and call you and say, hey, this guy went to 28 shows. He placed this, and this, all of them. How valuable would that be towards you guys helping to get a sponsorship? Here's
the thing for us, and there's I get some of when it comes to the bigger bass stuff, some of those end up in my inbox. And there's another gentleman here by the name of Roger Demery, and he really handles a lot of our we call it athletes and influencers, and Roger handles that part of the equation for us here at Kicker. And we have criteria. It's a two-way street. I mean, when you ask a company to get sponsored, what you have to realize is the company is looking for something in return. Whether we give you something or give you a deep discount on something, that's us giving you something. You got to in turn give something back. Right. And for any company that knows what they're doing, what we're looking for is positive marketing. We're looking for exposure. We're looking to see our products in a positive light. We're looking for magazine coverage. We're looking for social media coverage, video. There's a whole host of things we look at. Right. And I'm actually remiss, if he's on the feed, I'll give a shout out to him. And I need to get it, I'll just get it to you. We actually have a form, and like I told Molly, I'll provide it to you. And actually, Jimmy Ham asked me to send it to him, and I've been as busy as a one-arm wallpaper hanger in a windstorm, and I forgot to send it to him, and this reminded me. So Jimmy, if you're watching, I'll get it sent out to you because I know you've asked for it as well. But I'll get you the criteria, and you're more than welcome to share this with anybody. Yeah, okay. Once they look through and see what it's going to take to do it, they may just, well, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't work for me. Right. Just understand that sponsorships, it's not. It would be like you. I mean, just your household, your family. It'd be like your next door neighbor come go, hey, you want to sponsor mowing my yard? Well, what's in it for me? Well, I don't know. You give me your mower, and give me your gas, and give me your oil. Yeah. And I'm going to borrow your son, and you mow my yard. You sponsor mow my yard. But what's in it for me? I'm going to pay for the gas, I'm going to pay for the oil. What am I getting out of this? Right. So I don't want to seem one-sided. It is a two-way street, and if you want to be sponsored by any manufacturer, there are some hoops you got to jump through. Right. And it's a two-way street. And usually there's a time frame where you have to be committed to using the product for a certain amount of time and providing some what are called deliverables, which are those videos and social media and exposure and magazines and whatever else it may be. So I can tell you for a fact that here at Kicker, I mean, Kicker gets sponsored. I know that sounds crazy, you know, like sometimes manufacturers who make cars will want to sponsor because they want to get their car out. But there have been times when we've looked at the sponsorship on a car and gone, we'll just buy it, thanks. We don't want to jump through all your hoops and have to deal with we'll just buy the vehicle and do what we want to do and not have to be chained to those requirements. Yeah. It's the same way if we were to get something sponsored us, whether it's GM or Ford or whoever says, hey Kicker, would you like to have one of these new vehicles? And put a system in it, take it to SEMA or travel around the country for 2 years and send us a report every 30 seconds on how it's doing? And no, we probably wouldn't want to do that. So that's a good question. Thanks for asking. Robert Smith, I see you had a question up there, but I'm just going to put this up because I think it's funny. Robert Smith, Kip, Robert, what? What do you need, man? Hopefully you're tuned in. If you say bring those back, I don't know what you meant to bring those back. I'm assuming you're referring to KX amps, since I think that's what I was talking about. But either way, hit us back in the feed, Robert, if you got a question. This is good. Mike Craner, Kip, is there any advantage to using the Kicker IQi? Well, Mike, yes, there is an advantage to using the Kicker IQi. Unfortunately, IQ amplifiers are also end of life. Right. So IQ and KX both went end of life the first this year, and then blah, 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 dumpster fires I like to call it, and then everything else is history. Right. The cool part about the IQi is if you have an IQ setup with all IQ amplifiers, you've got your RCA inputs, and so you can accept input from your factory radio. It's got fit input. You can come off your factory, you can come off your aftermarket radio. However you want to get your signal into your amp, you can. There's really three things the IQI module gives you if you add it to a system with IQ amplifiers. The first one being you can adjust the DSP inside each and every amplifier over Bluetooth. So whether it's in your phone or in your tablet, you can go in and adjust the EQ, adjust the crossfade points. You can do a lot of the adjustments wirelessly on a tablet,
really
which
nice.
Anyone who's ever tuned a car, I can
really
tell
nice.
you, it's a whole
'Cause
lot
it's
more fun to just sit there.
You can tell it right now.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just happening. There's only a few really key things you can't adjust with the Bluetooth enabled. There's only a couple I can think of that you do have to use a laptop. But once those are set up with a laptop, you can basically adjust everything you want from that Bluetooth tablet or your phone. So that's benefit number one. Benefit number two is it gives you hands-free wireless calling. There is a microphone that comes with the IQI. And so, for example, I've seen this in quite a few cars where, rods or custom builders, they want to keep the entire car stock
right.
AM radio, but they want great sounding modern
Right.
audio. So what they'll do is they'll hide a good pair of speakers under the kick panels or under the doors that you don't see the speakers at all because it's behind grill cloth or material that blends with the car. And they may hide a sub in the back and they may hide an amplifier. But what they'll do then, I've seen it, they'll use an IQI and an IQ amplifier. So then they run the whole system off the amp. The IQI is their Bluetooth hands-free.
right, yeah.
So now they got a
Right.
rod or custom, and they can have hands-free telephone calling, which is really, really safe.
nice, yeah.
And then the other caveat is you can Bluetooth stream music from your device straight to the amplifier.
Right.
Now, the one thing I'll say is when it comes to Bluetooth streaming, first off, when it comes to Bluetooth, I don't like any of it. We've
Right.
already on record with that.
It's very convenient.
It's
though.
very convenient. But the cool part is if you stream into your factory radio or your aftermarket radio, and then it has to go, from digital to analog, and then if your radio has a DSP, it goes back to digital, and you do all your stuff, then it goes back to analog and comes out your RCA cables and goes to your amplifier, and then if it has a DSP in it, it's turned back into digital, and then all your controls then turn back to analog. There's a lot of conversions in
Right.
it. If you use the IQI and you stream music directly to the IQI in the kicker amplifier, it's a digital signal out of your phone into the IQI. It's digital out of the IQI into the amplifier's DSP. You do whatever you want to it, and then it's turned into analog and shot out the amplifier. So it's one of the most direct and clean paths to get your Bluetooth audio into the amp and out to your speakers. So that would be the advantage there, Mike, if you're looking at. Those are the three things you pick up if you add an IQI to an IQ system in your vehicle. Stipsits Balaz. Man, I certainly apologize if I got any of that wrong. Hey guys, I have 6 L7S15s and a bunch of people say this type of sub made for playing 30 to 40 hertz song and to go lower in the 20 to 25 hertz, they don't like and can burn down more easy. This is really, okay? I understand that you're doing your best with English and it's probably not your first language, and I'm going to do my best to interpret it and give you the answer, so I know what you're asking. Here's what I'll say. Any kicker subwoofer will play down to 20 hertz. Right. All of them. As a matter of fact, we might have to do a show sometime in the future where I take all the different subwoofers and just show you. They all play down to 20 hertz. Right. They're not frequency limited. A Comp 10 plays down to 20 hertz. A CVR, a Comp R, a Comp RT, a CVT, L7R, L7T, L7S. They all play down to 20 hertz. What you have to realize, and what happens in forget brand for a second. Don't think Kicker, don't think Rockford Fosgate, don't think JL Audio, don't think Sundown, don't think any of those. Just think basic how this works. If you take a speaker, and let's say it's playing 100 dB at 100 hertz, okay? And let's say that speaker, to do that, is moving 4 millimeters. Now, if you want to play an octave below 100 at that same 100 hertz, so now you want to go down to 50 hertz, and you also want to play it at 100 dB, that speaker's got to move 16 millimeters. Right. Now, go from 50 down to 25 hertz, and you want to play 25 hertz at that same 100 dB, the same pressure, the same output level, that speaker's now got to move 64 millimeters. Now, those numbers, I'm just pulling them out of the air as arbitrary numbers to let you understand I'm talking about here, but start at any frequency, pick a volume level you want to play it there, and if you want the frequency 1 octave below it to play that same level, the speaker has to move 4 times as far. That's pure science. There's no way around it. So what happens is, if you look at, say, like an L7S or an L7Q, those drivers have X maxes somewhere in the, I'm going to have to apologize, somewhere in the 14 to 20 millimeter range is probably the X max numbers on some of those drivers, depending on the size you're looking at. So any speaker Once you've moved that speaker as far as its mechanical parts will let it move, the surround, the spider, the tinsel leads, that's all the output the speaker can give you. There's no more sound to get.
Right.
So when you look at a lot of these vehicles today in the SPL big bass, as I like to call it, arena, they're using really long throw drivers so that they can get a lot more output in that 20 to 40 hertz register area. Okay, so the best way I can describe it to you is because a long throw subwoofer can move further at those lower frequencies, it's going to be louder than a speaker that doesn't move that far when you're taking both of those speakers to their full output capability. The best way I can describe it to you is, here's a car. If all you want to do is drive 60 mile an hour, and this car will do 100 and this car will do 140, it really doesn't matter. They both do 60 mile an hour.
Right.
But then when you get to the limits of the cars, and you get to this one and you get to 100, that's just as fast as that car can go. If you want to go faster than 100, you're going to need a different car to go 140. They both drive, they both steer, they both go to the grocery store, they both keep the wind and the rain off of you. They both do everything pretty well, but each one has a limitation. One might be just a 4-cylinder motor and the other one's a turbocharged V8.
Right.
Who knows? So L7S15s, they are a musical speaker. They will absolutely play down to 20 hertz. It's just they're going to give you what they can at 20 hertz. When you reach the limitations of that driver, and if you want more, you're going to have to either add more speakers, which means more power and more box, or you're going to have to go to a speaker with longer throw. And that's like, if we're staying in the kicker family, that's what L7X represents, because you're looking at the L7X10, the 12, and the 15. These drivers are capable of 3 to 3.5 inches peak to peak travel. I mean, that's
a long ways.
That's a long way. So go back to that analogy I was telling you. If you were at 100 hertz and you were playing it and the speaker's moving 4 millimeters, and then you want to do that same SPL at 50 hertz, now it's got to move 16 millimeters, and now it's got to move 64 millimeters, this is the driver that's going to be capable of that. So it's just the intensity or the loudness that a speaker can play once it gets to the point that you've reached the range or the limit of how far it can move. Hopefully that makes sense for you. I can take a 4-inch speaker and play 20 hertz.
Right.
I just can't play 20 hertz and float babies in the windshield.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Can't hear it loud.
So
Right.
hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
Any other questions, JW? You got them back there. Feel free to throw them up. I'm going to ask you one final question here. I'm really going to try to keep the show to 9 o'clock, so I'm watching the clock.
All right.
What's the future of Bass Wars?
That's a good question. We don't really have a plan.
Hey, you heard it here live, folks.
It depends on what the competitors want. That's the truth.
So when you say what the competitor wants, you're really looking at, you try to be an organization that takes input from the people who are there.
Yeah, we take some input, but make no mistake that I know that sometimes, like, all these rules get created by the people that yell the loudest. So just because you yell the loudest don't really mean we'll take that input. Most of the time we kind of discard that and listen to the general public or general people, or the general not as loud,
right,
if you will. In other words, we're not going to make a rule for every time somebody yells at us. So I think we'll keep the competitors interested.
I know that we're really proud to be the title sponsor, corporate sponsor for Bass Wars. I think what you guys are doing is really bringing fun back into the equation.
It is fun. We're making fun, yeah.
And I think, you know, the fun, the camaraderie, I like to call it breaking bread because I like doing that.
Right.
I really see that in your organization, and so it's really fun that we get to get involved with you.
Yeah, we just don't have anything for people to be unhappy about other than a class. So it just makes it more laid back.
It does.
Mean, that's just what it is. It's just laid back.
So I'm gonna try to get a few more questions in here, and then we'll get to the contest winners for tonight. So real quick, I got a shout out from Brian Park here. He says, "Need a new Kicker bass CD." You know, Kicker did have a.
I remember that.
Remember?
Yeah,
remember?
right.
It was I think it was that a Mustang? A side view of a Mustang with a Kicker bump. Ernie, do you remember that disc?
I do.
Was that a Mustang? I know there was one. The one with the Mustang, maybe from we had a distributor did one too.
All right.
Brian says, need a new Kicker bass CD to release with the new Solo X line. You know, Brian, I don't know personally, but I've been introduced to a few gentlemen who are really good at making bass CDs. I think we need to reach out to them and have a conversation and see what it would take to actually make that happen, because that
would be very cool.
Would be very cool. So great idea, Brian. I think we'll, if Mr. Sean Korb, if you're tuned in tonight and watching, I think I know I owe you a phone call. We're going to have to get on the phone and talk. You know, maybe that's something we can do. And
Got
for
some
those in the
ideas for
know,
that
you
as
know who
well.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Another one here real quick from Will Oyola or Ola. Again, if I butcher your last name, I sincerely apologize. What software and program can I use to figure out how to design an enclosure for the L7 line of woofers? Well, if you're wanting to do it yourself, you could look at WinISD. That is a
Right.
program that you can
It's
get
free.
online. It's free. Works fairly well. There's a host of other ones that you could look out there. I have some that are still on 3.5-inch discs. Can't use them much
Right.
today. I mean, I go like Blaubox and Basebox. I've got a copy on CD called Basebox Pro, which is
That's a
another
good
good
one,
program
yeah.
to use
That's
for
a
that.
good one, yeah.
Here at Kicker, if you have a Kicker speaker and you're trying to model a box or do anything, you can always call in to tech support here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, or you can support at kicker.com. We use two programs here. They prefer, for ease of use, they prefer to use TermLab. We have TermLab. All of our guys upstairs have TermLab. And then they also have a program called FindBox. FindBox is really more of an engineering, geeky, nerdy
It's
program.
great.
So the guys upstairs prefer to use TermPro. They also have FindBox. They can run through either one of them and come up with some calculations for you. I don't even know if it's Leap. And when I first came to work for Kicker, I don't even think it's made anymore.
Yeah, Leap.
I think it's dead and
It's
gone.
dead.
Yeah, but I used to use Leap back in the DOS days.
Right, it was good.
But if you're looking for something that you could go out easily yourself and get and start learning or playing around with teal small parameters and doing box modeling, I would probably tell you to either get Basebox Pro or WinISD.
Yeah.
That's probably where I would set you to go. That's my recommendation.
I agree.
You have anything?
WinISD is it's free, so if you don't want to spend money, that's one. I like the TermLab as well.
We've got-
Basebox Pro, it's good too.
Man, Dan Humphammer, you're on it tonight. You got lots of it.
Right.
For me, it was two
Dan is a
Kicker free
character.
air 15s and a Camaro in '93 that got me into bass.
Yeah.
Man, you know, Dan, I got to tell you, I always refer to it back in the day.
Right.
You know, back in the day, you do a lot of cars, you know, a lot of sedans. I mean, there was a lot of sedans. And Camaros, Novas, vehicles like that. I can't tell you how many of those I would go in and do a free air baffle board with
Right.
410s, 412s, a pair of
Yeah.
15s. And man, I would not ever advocate a free air setup to someone who's chasing SPL numbers because it's not for that.
Right.
But as far as how it sounds, a free
It
air
sounds
setup
good.
system sounds really good.
It does.
It does sound good. You're not going to get big numbers out of it.
No, but it sounds good.
It sounds amazing. And I had a few myself, and I installed many free air systems back in the day. So yeah, the 93 Camaro, free air 15s, I'll bet it sounded amazing.
That was the F15.
The
or
F15.
The F18.
Exactly. That's the ones you had would have been the F drivers. So with that said, man, there are tons of comments in the feed here, but as I promised, guys, I really want to try to keep the show wrapped up to about 90 minutes tonight. Hey, Albert. Hey, I see this here. Albert Hernandez. Hopefully I got that right, Albert. I still have two Kicker ZR amps still running my mids and highs.
Dang.
Those are good amplifiers. Keep on trekking with those. So with that said, it's that part of the show. You know where we're at. It's time to announce some winners. We got third place, second place, and first place. Third place is the EB200s, the T-shirt, and the koozies. Second place, we're going to move you up to the Tabor 2 Bluetooth headphones, the T-shirt, and the koozies. And grand prize tonight, just for tuning in, if you're the lucky winner, it's going to be a Bullfrog 100, a BF 100, the T-shirt, and the koozies. So with that said, Bill, do we have some winners this evening? Nah. Nah? You know there are people
Bill's
that tune in
gonna be
here
in
just to hear
trouble.
you say yep. Do you know that?
They have your email,
Bill just said, nah.
right?
Come on, Bill, give us what we need. You got him? He said, nah. They
He
want
said
the
that
yeah.
out loud. I heard
I
it.
know, I'm disappointed.
We're on TV, man.
So winner number 3 tonight, Lance D from New York. Lance, thank you for tuning into the show tonight. Instructions I'm going to give you will apply to third place, second place, and first place winners. If you are a winner on Kicker Unmasked Live weekly tonight, you will get an email from Bill Frog tomorrow. We need you to reply to that email within 7 days. If you do not reply within 7 days, and Bill reaches out multiple times, you do forfeit the prize, and we will draw another winner for that prize. It hasn't happened often, but I just want to let you know that you do have a 7-day window to claim that prize. Next up, we need you to give us your shipping address, and it cannot be a P.O. box, please. We can't ship to a P.O. box. We also need for you to give us your phone number. This is probably the most serious part of the show. We do not use your phone number for any marketing purposes or anything else. It's just, it doesn't matter how we ship your prize to you, whether we use UPS, USPS, FedEx, DHL, or carrier pigeon. they need to have your phone number in case they can't find your address, or they need to arrange for you to come pick it up at their hub location. So give us your phone number, and I promise it's just used in the shipping information. And last but not least, confirm your shirt size. I know when you're in a hurry to get back to the show, it's a drop-down list. You might have checked the wrong box. We just want to make sure that if you're like me, you don't need to be wearing a medium if you're an extra large kind of guy. So let's confirm your shirt size. That way you're not using it to wax your car. You're actually putting it on your body. So these are the instructions for all of our winners. That's winner number 3 tonight. That's the EBs, the koozies, and the T-shirt. Lance D. from New York, thank you for tuning in tonight, sir. Bill, who's winner number 2? Chad G. Man, New York, New Hampshire, we're hitting that part of the country.
Right, that's where we need to go.
Chad G. from New Hampshire. Sir, you are winner number 2 tonight on Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. You're going to get the Tabor 2s, the T-shirt, and the koozies to keep your favorite beverage nice and cold while you're watching the Kicker Unmasked show or anything else you're doing in your life. Having fun on the weekend, whatever it is. And that brings us to winner number 1, who's going to get the Bullfrog 100, the T-shirt, and the koozie. Who is that, Bill? Tonight's final winner is Jason L. from Colorado. So we jumped all the way to the other side of the country.
Right.
Just a little bit west and north of us, Colorado. Tonight's final winner, Jason L. Jason, you're winning the Bullfrog, the T-shirts, and the koozies. Congratulations to all of our winners. Thank you for tuning into the show tonight. Again, look for your email from Bill tomorrow. It will be coming from social@kicker.com. Please reply with that information we need. Bill will have it in the email, and we will get your prize sent out to you as quick as we can. So with that said, JW, are there any other questions that you thought were good you wanted to bring up on the screen real fast? Anything that you got in your queue? Nah. He said nah.
Right.
So, this is the official end of the show.
Right.
But there's always that but. Oh, by the way. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
We actually have an L7X10 right here, and I know we had a lot of people who, after they saw the 15, were asking about the L7X10. So what I thought we'd do tonight, real quick, I'm actually going to fire this up. We'll do a little bit of free air action on it.
Yeah.
You saw it earlier.
Yeah.
Were you impressed?
Yeah.
He was impressed. So we're going to do this real quick here at the end of the show. For those who are hanging around and tuned in, you want to see a little bit of free air motion on the Solo X, we're going to do that right now. This is the L7X10. Timmy, you good on camera? Nah. Tonight's the Nah show. We got Nah and Nah. We got all four. We got the 3 guys backstage going Nah, and then we got what the heck?
They must have drank from the same water fountain.
They must have. So let's get this fired up. Let me get the meter set up. So this is a prototype, pretty close to final, guys. As you understand, we're still working on getting things finished here, but I figured we could fire this up and let you guys see a little bit of free air action on this. Almost got to give a shout out to my boy MB at MB Enclosure, because he's been doing this a lot.
Right?
Yeah, he's been doing a whole bunch. So let's fire, let me turn this down. Okay, fire the amplifier up. So basically we got a KX2400 here, guys, and we're gonna be hooked up over here to, like I said, this is an L7X10 that we've got here. And I'll back out of the way so that Ernie can switch between both cameras. Maybe you can get a front view and then a little side view there. And we will fire this thing up. So this is at 8 cycles. And man, I wish that camera picked up.
Yeah, I was even tempted to hold it, but.
I wish I could. Right. We'll give a little.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you know, that. Good idea. We need to get that for a future show. So basically, there's 8 cycles, guys. We're dumping about 480 watts into that driver, and I don't know how far is it moving there. We'll let Billy, the independent reviewer, tell us.
That's at least 2 inches from in to out. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
It's.
Yeah.
It's. I don't know if Tim can get this on camera for any. The whole. Let go of the table. The whole table. The whole table's vibrating.
Yeah.
The whole darn. My laptop. The cutaway driver over there. The whole thing's vibrating. It's pretty crazy. So I'm gonna turn it down a little bit here. Change frequency.
Yeah, 8 hertz. That's pretty low.
That's pretty low. I mean, you can definitely see a lot of motion there at 8 hertz. So I'm gonna dial it down. So there's 20 hertz. Pace head 30. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? This thing, I mean, okay, I'm looking at come around here and look at the blur. It's moving every bit of 3 inches, if not more. Come take a look at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
If Billy and I had hair, it'd probably be moving.
It would. It would.
Oh yeah, that thing, holy moly. Look at that.
Right. It's like an air conditioner out the back.
it's So that's, believe it or not, that's only 275 watts, 280 watts, 20 hertz, and it's getting that kind of.
It's gonna make some sound. It must be efficient.
It is.
Very efficient.
You know, that's the one thing that, you know, we keep talking about is these are big, beefy drivers, and they've got a ton of throw on them, but they do a whole lot with the power given to them.
Right.
So anyhow, for those who asked to see an L7X10, unfortunately, that's the only one I had available we could do tonight. So
it works.
It's pretty cool to see that going on there. So there's your first look, Andy McGill.
Right.
Because he's one of the ones that asked.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to see an L7X10 in motion. So there you go, L7X10 prototype, giving it the beans. Sweet baby Jesus, that's move. I got to show that comment. Yeah.
Right.
It's Chuffy never sounded so good. 25 hertz. See, we knew it. Okay. He loves the camera. We love the show and everything. Everyone at Stillwater Designs does put on show every. Man, you know what, Vance? I at least wanted to get the bulk part of the show in before 9 o'clock, which we made, and then this is a little bit of taste here at the end. But that's all I'm going to do tonight. We're not going to keep the show much longer than that. Hopefully you enjoy this. And guys, seriously, if you like seeing demos like this, if you like art once every 2 weeks ain't good.
Right.
If you guys like this content, if you like what we're doing here on Kicker MS Live, man, please, on your way out the door tonight, smash that thumbs up button for us. We certainly appreciate that. Give us a subscription to our YouTube channel. If you know another guy who's into car audio, whether he's into sound quality or SPL or he's a bass head, whatever it is, man, send him our direction and let him know what we're doing here on the channel, because we love getting everybody in here. And let us know. You can always email us, social@kicker.com. Let us know what you want to see on the show, because we truly do this show for all of you guys and gals who tune in from literally across the world.
Right.
I mean, we have people from Canada, South Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, you name a country, I think we've had them on the show. We get a lot of people tune in. So with that said, Billy, you got anything you want to say for Blast Plug for Bass Wars? Do it.
See you guys this weekend.
Billy, Bass Wars is a great organization. If you're in that kind of thing, definitely hit the Bass Wars page, basswars.org, or find them on Facebook. You can find the group and the page there. And we are actually co-hosts of any event. So if you want to know what's going on as far as events in Bass Wars,
they can check the Kicker calendar.
They can check the Kicker calendar, and they'll be on there. So Billy, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to join us here tonight to talk about Bass Wars.
Loved it, yeah.
It's a great organization. I know the people who participate in it.
Having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I know people enjoy it, and we'll have to get you on there 3 to 6 months and find out what's going on in Bass Wars.
Sounds like a winner.
As always, it's my pleasure to be the guy in front of the camera trying to keep this ship on course and not hitting the big chunk of ice out in the ocean. Kip Litzy here. Behind cameras, as always, we got Tim doing a fantastic job getting the different views lined up for Ernie, who's back on Switcher. JW controlling the StreamYard feed and looking for comments and things, keeping them straight. And as always, Bill is on the social media feed, keeping things in check there, making sure we got audio and making sure Ernie's happy. At least that's what he's supposed to be doing. It's our pleasure to be the 5 representatives for Stillwater Designs and Audio Incorporated, or as you know as Kicker, right here in the heartland of America, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you here next Tuesday night, 7:30 Central Time. We've got another great show planned out for you, so be sure you tune into that. As always, have a great week. Be safe this weekend, whatever you're doing, and we will see you back here next Tuesday night. Have a good one, everyone.